So, after completing my reading of Annihilation, I kind of wanted to check out more Keith Giffen stuff because I wanted to get a better feel for him as a writer. I feel like he's the kind of guy I would like writing, especially a team book or something. But as I said in my Annihilation review, I felt that that storyline depended way too much on the reader having a lot of knowledge and a lot of experiences with a lot of the main players, beforehand. And basically, I'm not just going to retread my Annihilation review. And so I heard that he was kind of doing a DC book, Justice League 3000, a book I really didn't care for before it launched. And it's been getting really bad word of mouth. So these two elements combined just made me want to check it out. And I can tell you right off the bat, this book is freaking amazing. Because, and no one seems to pick this up. No one seems to notice the fact that Keith Giffen is pretty much making fun of the Jeff Johns versions of Wonder Woman, Superman, and the uber paranoid, ultra manipulating, nearly psychotic Batman from the early 2000s. And I think it's absolutely spectacular. Like, this is. Um, if you guys have watched DBZ Abridged, the whole shtick of DBZ Abridged is that it takes the basic characters and storylines of Dragon Ball Z and it does stick to them, but it does kind of make the characters a little more exaggerated. Goku's a complete and utter fucking idiot. Vegeta's a borderline psychotic madman, and it basically uses those kind of extreme versions of the characters as a way to kind of deliver comedy. And this book is not as extreme as that, but it is painfully obvious and hilariously so that Keith Giffen is basically taking people's complaints with the new 52 versions of Superman, Wonder Woman, and the uber psychotic, ultra manipulative Batman of the early 2000s, which a lot of people didn't like. And I think it's freaking fantastic. A lot of people say, New 52 Superman's like this big jerk, he thinks, he's the greatest thing to happen to the human species since the discovery of fire. He thinks he's the cat's pajamas. He's all cocky and shit, and that's what people say about him. Well, this is that Superman that exists, kind of in the year 3000. And, a lot of people. Yeah, man. As you could probably tell from me banging my microphone from that last bit there, my sister came in, basically ruined the recording as she kind of does from time to time. But anyway, as I was saying, I said that, Superman was really cocky and Keith Giffen kind of exacerbates that and makes it more extreme, kind of more exaggerated. A lot of people, have a problem with Jeff Johns' Wonder Woman where all she cares about is fighting and stuff. She doesn't want to spread, love and understanding. She just wants to go in there and kill shit. Well, this is that Wonder Woman taken to another exaggerated level. And the Batman here is not as much of a parody of Jeff Johns' Batman, but as I said, he's more of a parody of the early 2000s Batman who's really, psychotically paranoid, manipulative. And again, he's kind of made a bit more exaggerated. And the book clearly knows it's making fun of these characters. And I'm surprised, in fact, not surprised, I am shocked that no one else has picked up on this. Because the second I figured this out, the book became such a fucking pleasure to read. That is the main reason why you should read Justice League 3000. Seeing these kind of exaggerated caricatures of some versions of characters you may or may not like being, done in a kind of an official DC book is actually pretty damn rare. I would go so far as to say that this is the Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe of DC, and you guys will know that I love Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. I love it because it makes fun of, Marvel tropes, Marvel cliches, and just comic book cliches in general. Well, this thing basically takes fan complaints from the New 52 or complaints people have about certain characters, and it kind of puts it in a story context, and it plays it up for comedy and for some pretty interesting character interaction. Like, my God, is Superman an arrogant prick in this? But it's such a fun way that he's written to be an arrogant prick that's what makes it fun, And there are just some really hysterical moments, especially with Batman. Like, Batman and Superman here are at each other's throats. Superman's like this big cocky douchebag, and super and Batman's the one who's trying to keep him under control, and these guys are basically at each other's throats the whole book, and it's fucking hilarious. Immediately when Superman says something, or does something stupid that Batman considers as stupid, Batman just face palms and says, "If I only had one little teeny tiny bit of kryptonite." And it's funny. There's tons of funny interactions like that, and that is easily the highlight of the book. And what I really like about it is that Keith Giffen actually does give several good story, in-universe reasons for why these people are not acting as they usually would. The year is 3000, and basically human civilization was thriving and thriving, and then these five very powerful beings showed up and they basically fucked everything up. And so Cadmus has spent the last 15 years trying to figure out how they can recreate, some of Earth's greatest heroes in order to combat these individuals. And Keith Giffen, he does give good story explanations, in the universe for why these guys are so flawed, why some of these guys don't act like they usually would. Flash isn't this happy-go-lucky dude. Hal Jordan is not a prick. He's actually kind of like this calm, understanding kind of leader of men type dude, which I think that Hal Jordan haters are going to enjoy about this book. And, like I said, I already said about the exaggerated Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman. And, the reasons for this is that these were regular people that they basically took, kind of off the street. They basically overwrote their DNA against their own will. And, since the process isn't perfect, they created all of these sort of deficiencies in their abilities or in their personalities. Superman in this, he cannot fly, he cannot use heat vision, and he's nowhere near as powerful as he used to be. Neither is Wonder Woman. They cannot recreate the Flash's, use of the Speed Force, so they have to give him this special suit. And, well, no, he actually can't control his powers very well, and they have to give him this special suit that he doesn't basically burn himself alive. They cannot recreate the Green Lantern ring, so they got to give him this kind of cloak thing that does give him some semblance of the Green Lantern power. And apparently the Green Lanterns are some of the most hated individuals in the universe. And so that's also quite interesting. And another reason for why these guys, for why their personalities aren't as good as they used to be, is because the Justice League was formed 1,000 years ago at this point. And while they do know their secret identities, 1,000 years is a long, long time. So they have to base a lot of their personalities, a lot of their motivation, basically a lot of their very essence, so to speak, based on speculation, myths, urban legend. They got to find a way how to make that all mesh together. And overall, they are very, very valid reasons for why these guys are acting the way they are. And while the storyline isn't like, this is not a book you read for the story. This is a book you read just so you can see a writer clearly use complaints fans have about certain characters, and he's basically making fun of those same guys along with you. And Keith Giffen is usually getting shit these days for for not tolerating fanboy bullshit, and I got to give him props for that because I've already told you what I think about comic book fans. And when one of the main guys, writers in the industry is like, "Fuck you, assholes," that's he gets props and respect from me. So yeah, like I don't really have that much to say about this book. This is like, if you hate the New 52, if you hate the way Superman is portrayed these days, the way Wonder Woman is portrayed, you should read this book because it basically takes your complaints and it makes them more exaggerated and it uses them for fun character moments and fun character interaction. And it's just a book that is making fun of basically, it's a like I said, it's a book that uses fan complaints, to create a fun and entertaining book in and out of itself. And the artist gets a lot of shit, but I think the artist is actually he does a very serviceable job. And honestly, for the type of story this is, I can't say I could find anyone else who could do a better job than him. I know he's like this infamous dude from the 90s who basically did a lot of bad 90s shit, but I mean, Jim Lee did a lot of bad 90s shit, and we forgive him. So I think this guy can get a free pass as well. So yeah, Justice League 3000. This is a book people who hate some versions of the New 52 characters should read. This book is making fun of those guys the same as you do, and it's using those complaints to craft a book that is all about just just over the top funny character moments and character interaction. And it really is a book it's basically kind of like a funny book written by someone who hates the New 52, and I think that a lot of people who hate the New 52 can find can find something to relate to here. So yeah, if you hate the New 52, I think this is totally something that is right up your alley. And yeah, I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite DC books coming out right now. I just think it's hilarious, and I enjoyed all four issues of it that I've read. So yeah, I highly recommend you guys check this out. I do not think this book deserves as much shit as it gets, and it is far, far better than I ever thought it was gonna be. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the review, guys, and you can. And I hope you guys check out my next review, which will be on Tom Taylor's Earth 2, which was recommended to me by Jay, and the other guys of DC Prime. It should be coming out today, tomorrow, or maybe sometime this week. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a review of Tom Taylor's Earth 2. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys are going to stick around for my next batch of reviews. I'll see you later. Bye.